video is sponsored by Comic Book Pressing. Use the code MightyComicsGuy for one free regular priced press when submitting 3 books or more. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence, the Mighty Comics Guy, back with another video. And today we are back for CGC submission, What Are the Grades, Part 4. If you guys haven't checked out the first 3 episodes of this series, I suggest you do so. Basically, I had sent about 10 books into CGC about a month and a half ago. Received a bunch back already, and today was the last shipment that I received. So I have 6 books in total that I'm going to be showing you guys. So lots of good stuff. I'm going to run through what my predictions were beforehand, and show you what the grades, what they came back at. So let's jump into it and see what I got back. So the first book, by the way, I already looked at all this stuff, so I kind of see what the grades are ahead of time. But if you don't believe me, go back and check what I thought the grades would be at. So first up, we have Conan the Barbarian #1. When I had sent this in, I predicted a grade of 5.0. Thought it might be a little better than that, but I'm happy to show you guys that this book came back a 7.0. I was a little shocked that it was such a high grade. Just goes to show you guys that I am a strict grader. So definitely, I mean, there were some spine ticks on this book, but the cover itself was quite nice aside from those spine ticks. So super stoked that this one came back a 7.0 off white to white pages. So a 2-point jump from what I thought, which is great. The next one I predicted would come back a 3.0. Now, if you watch that first video, I talk about some of the dirt that was on this front cover of this book, and that my guy, comic book _pressing, was able to get a lot of it off, but it left kind of like a, I don't want to say a color deterioration, but left part of the book to be, in certain spots, a little lighter once the dirt was lifted off. So I predicted this was coming back a 3.0, and it came back a 4.0 white pages, which I am super stoked about. When I purchased this book, I really thought it might have been a lower grade book, and I thought I'd spend too much for it, but after the cleaning and pressing, it came back a lot better than I anticipated, and I am happy that this one came back a 4.0. So far, 2 for 2, I've undergraded the book. So I'm a strict grader. So anybody who ever buys books from me, just know that. And if you don't believe me, check out the first video in this series, because all the stuff is there. So the next one I had predicted would come back a 3.0. Now, I had stated in the first video of this series that this book had some water damage to it, and my guy had cleaned it and pressed it, and I couldn't even fit it in the Mylar before the cleaning and the pressing. That's how warped it was. So I wasn't sure how much that was going to affect the grade. I sent it in, it was completely flat because of my guy who does the cleaning and pressing, so I owe him one for this. I said it would come back at 3.0, but I wasn't sure what it would come because of that. So what it came back was a 3.0. Like I said, was right on the money on this one. Cream to off-white pages as well, which I kind of figured. But if you saw this book beforehand, you wouldn't even have believed it. It was still a shiny book, but it was like very, very wavy, so I wasn't sure like that I should even pick it up. But any first appearance where the book looked all right, you know, I figure it's worth the money. So happy this came back a 3.0. I was right on about that one. So I am 2 under, 1 right at it. Next book I predicted would come back a 4.0. So this is Thor #165. I had mentioned that this book has a giant subscription crease right down the center of the book. It's kind of faint, so I thought this book would come back a 4.0, or I thought maybe even possibly had a chance to get even better. It came back a 3.5. So this one was a little bit of a disappointment. I know the black covers are a little harder to get the grades on, but this one was, I mean, I know it's tough to see in this video, but this looks pretty nice to me. I mean, yeah, there's some stuff, there's the dog here on the top right, some edge wear, stuff like that, but nothing that was that bad outside of this subscription crease. So anybody who's watching, just, maybe they might take a little bit more off for subscription increases. So who knows? I went through the graders notes on this stuff. I didn't see anything that was that, outstanding that they would drop it that much. But to me, this looks like a higher grade book. But CGC gives it a 3.5 off white to white pages. So I was off by a half a point, which is fine. So 2, I was under, 1 right at the money, and 1 half a point over. So my next one, I thought I gave a range. I said it would be between a 7.0 and a 7.5. I said on an outstanding day, it would be an 8.0. And we have Marvel Special Edition number 15, the first appearance of Shang-Chi. Like I said, 7.0 to 7.5. On an amazing day, it would be an 8.0. And it came back at an 8.0. So CGC, whoever graded this book, thank you. I really appreciate it considering how hot this book has been. I picked this up like 6 months ago at one of my local shops for $75, and it's worth a hell of a lot more than that. Thank you, MCU, and hopefully we get to see this guy soon. But super stoked that this came back at 8.0. So half a point under I was on the last one. Point to 0.5 over on this one. So super stoked about that. I have one more book. Now this book, I wasn't sure, being that it's a dark colored book, I wasn't sure how hard I should be in this book. I gave this book a 3.0 when I sent it in. It does have some fraying along the top. It's a dark cover. You do have some spine ticks and some creasing here and there. Nothing too bad. I did have this pressed and cleaned before I sent it in. I predict this would be a 3.0. I'm happy to say that this came back a 4.5. So anybody who wants to get anything from me, know that I am a really strict grader. That's probably why I pick up as many books as I do, because I tend to find that they go for their higher grades than I normally think they are, which is awesome. But this book is, of course, signed by Gene Colan, Blue Label, which I requested. If you check out that video, I talk all about how you can request blue labels. Most of the time they'll give it to you unless there's a glaring omission or something like that. But if you ever get a book signed that's not witnessed, doesn't mean it's going to come back a green label. You can request a blue one. So got the new Iron Man label up at the top, which I think is pretty cool. But super stoked that this came back a 4.5. Much better than I thought. So that's it for CGC submission. What are the grades? Part 4. I hope you guys enjoyed going through these books with me and going through the grading process and seeing what they came back as. In about another month or a month and a half, I'm going to have another submission that I'm going to be doing. So look forward to that. And I also, of course, do weekend comic hauls. I think we're up to 19 is going to come out this weekend. So stay tuned for that. That's it. This is Lawrence the Mighty Comics Guy saying thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys soon.